Hello everyone, HMS Vanguard 46 here. Today's video is finally being released. It is the video that I had been planning for months and months. The video on my favourite bomber in War Thunder, the Blackburn Buccaneer. A good bomber, that's about it. Please note, all the information that you will see in this video today is in the workshop manual of the Blackburn Buccaneer by Haynes. The Blackburn Buccaneer started development in the late summer of 1953, designed to counter the Soviet Navy to fill in what's called the North Atlantic Gap in NATO's defence from the Soviet Union in the Cold War. This is the gap between Iceland and Scotland and Scotland and Norway. So Blackburn Buccaneer was designed with the requirements of not having a takeoff weight that exceeded 4,000 pounds, landing weight of 30,000 pounds, folded dimensions of 51 feet in length, 20 feet in width, weapons load of 4,000 pounds, counterbar capability, being a naval attacker. It had the original design spec was to have the Bristol BE-33, which was designed for 11,000 pounds of thrust. However, due to horrible Bristol design processes and delays and just poor luck, the de Havilland Gyron was forced into service with it instead. And compared to the 11,000 of the Bristol, the Gyron only had 7,100 pounds of thrust. Fun fact, the Buccaneer's design was also specified to be able to carry the green cheese. Now, I'll give you all a chance to figure out what green cheese means, but you just need to think that it's British. Right, time's up. It's a nuclear bomb. Yeah, we call everything dirt shit ships all the time. Just green cheese, because why not? So, the S1 was stuck with the Gyrons, and when it was put into carrier development and into carrier testing, it was realised this thing's a piece of crap. Can we get something else in it? Because we can't really fly this thing well, and it crashes a lot. So after a couple of years in service, the S1 was pulled out of service and replaced with the S2, which was a modified airframe, which carried the Bay 101, which is more powerful than the BE-33, which was the original designed engine for the thing. And it was the same engine that the F4 Phantom FGR 1 and 2 got, as well as the BAC 111. It was so powerful that they reduced the maximum thrust to 1,100 pounds. So it could have gone even faster, but that would have done damage to the actual airframe, and it probably could have gone past Mach. May I remind you, this is a non-afterburning version of the F4 Phantom's engine, but in British service. Blackburn could also carry refueling pods, and they could be placed either in the bomb bay, in replacement of the rotary bomb bay, or on the wings, in side pods. They also historically carried paveways in the Gulf War, and the British version of the paveway, can't remember what that was called for the life of me. It also carried AIM-9Ls. So, unlike what we see in War Thunder where it carries the AIM-9B, it can actually carry the same as the A-10. So while it's at the same BR, or higher than the A-10 actually, can we give it the AIM-9L please now? Just saying. Now, from my personal experience of playing the Blackburn Buccaneer, the best way really to play this jet is to play it low and fast. You do not manoeuvre. Always to carry your flares unless you're stock. If you're stock, beg the enemy team just to let you live. Genuinely. It works sometimes. And leave smoke on if you do. Best thing you can also do is do cast runs in AB or Sim. I especially love the Buccaneer in Slim, because if you go onto a map where you've got tons of airfields, you can just go zoom off to them, and most people will ignore you, especially if you ask them to, and you can just farm RP and SL. It's quite good, especially if you don't crash on landing, but to each their own. So fly off to the side, and once you drop your bombs, pitch up and roll and run back to your AF. Your speed will save you. And I can attest to that because the amount of times my speed saved me from MiG-19, MiG-21, because they've been slower than me and further from me. My speed's kept me at almost mark. So I've managed to get back to my airfield and not be caught, which is good. Buccaneer needs an ACM pod and a drop tank to be historically accurate to its original spec in real life. So War Thunder, add ACM please. You know, jamming so we don't get hit by radar guided missiles as much. And a drop tank because extra fuel's extra fuel. Don't play the Buccaneer if you're expecting a fighter. If you think it's a fighter, you're stupid. Really, I'm going to call you stupid if you think the Buccaneer's a fighter. It is really good at turning with its really large tail, which was a whole piece tail. However, it only gets the AIM-9Bs. Play it like a bomber, fly low and fast. From personal experience, the Buccaneer is a fun plane to fly. I highly recommend it if you're trying to get to the Tornado GR1. If you get Talisman on it, just from Guardian being nice, play it in Sim. That's what I would recommend, because if you don't, you're going to struggle in Air RB because you've got all the premiums these days, and you can't play in Air Arcade because it's Air Arcade. You won't be able to compete. So yeah, that is my 7-minute guide on the Blackburn Buccaneer. Footage from the video has been either supplied by myself from War Thunder, historical footage, or from submissions in the Discord. So yeah, thank you for watching, and good night.